gotta redo that. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 8 to 5 Trader, where I give you guys my trades for today. Today I ended up realized plus 204, which is 4% of my account size. And after commissions, I'm actually negative 29 because I traded 60 times. So today, I wasn't really in my right mind today, but I traded so freaking much, and I was up 50 bucks, I was down 120 bucks, up $8. My whole account size, or at least my net P&L, was jumping all around the place. But at one point I was down like 180 bucks or 150 bucks, and I got it back down in minus 29, and then I stopped right before I got a big move. So we're going to start off with AMD. So AMD, actually, I think I made the first trade on MU. So MU, I tried to take this to the short side, and I ended up not getting the move that I was looking for. Let's see. So I went short right here. 32.42, 400 shares. I saw this price action go up and then it started to come down, but I guess it formed like a weird ABCD pattern. And then I tried to short this to get it back to the short side because it was down for the day, and I figured we could probably get back down to 32. But then I ended up getting stopped out, so I took a small loss on that. Then I came back and let's see what else. Let's go to AMD. Let's just do it this way. So AMD, I took a short trade on this, 30.40, took a short trade, stopped out early. I can't remember why. I think I felt like it was slowing down and it didn't really want to go, and then that's when it did squeeze. And then I got back in. I think I took 800 shares here, and then it did the same thing, and I was really afraid that it was going to squeeze, but had I just held on a little bit longer, it would have definitely faded. This would have been over $100 and some trade, so I missed out on that, but I did do a quick scalp again later on, 400 shares, 30.16. And got a nice little move to the downside. Then I covered everything before it squeezed up. ARQL, this one was a heap of mess, man. Like, this one was crazy. So what happened with this, if I can remember, I went short on this, 400 shares, looking for the move back to the downside because this was a reverse ABCD pattern, A, B, C, and I was looking for the 50 as my resistance. But the price actually squeezed up pretty dramatically, and I was thinking to myself, man, this is gonna get crazy. So I stopped myself out. Then I got back in 800 shares after it started to go back down, and then I scaled out accordingly. So I made up for that loss. Then I tried to go short again on a very, very late entry. Then I caught myself, and I told myself, Brandon, this is a bad trade, and I got out at break even. Then I waited for another move. Tried to get back into the short side, got a very late entry from the 9 and the 50. And the reason it's chopped around is because of this 50 right here. Normally the 50 is above the 9 and the 20, and the 50 is up here, and that's what allows you to get that trend going. So it never really broke out into a trend. And that's when I went short, stopped out, and then I got back in 800 shares for a quick move to the downside, covered everything, and squeezed back up. And that's when we finally got that nice move that I was looking for, where the 50 is actually above each one and you get that decent trend line. So Facebook, I tried to take Facebook to the short side. I was got there a little too early. Price actually squeezed up, then it came back down, and I thought that we were going to get a fade. I went short 100 shares. Again, I was a little premature. I stopped out for a small loss of 14 bucks. Then later on, a few minutes later, right at 10 minutes, it did make that move down to the 20, which is what I was looking for. So it made a nice move. I just was a little bit too early. Fiverr, I traded this initially. I feel like I traded this well. It's just the move didn't work out. Fiverr made an explosion in growth yesterday on this IPO, and I really thought we were going to get that move back up. So I went long. I went long 200 shares, and then I went another 200 shares on the way up, thinking, all right, we're going to get this nice little pop up. But then it kind of hesitated, and I started scaling out because it kept going up and down, and that's when I took everything off, and then it finally faded. So I'm glad I did that. So at this point, this was my first trade, actually. I was only up like 11 bucks after that trade because the spread was also trash. It was jumping like, 20 and 30 cents in a matter of seconds. So I did go wait and go long right here. I went long 50 shares, got a nice little pop up to the 20. It was, again, hesitating because of the spread. Then I waited, and I came back later for a short. I shorted, let's see, what did I short? Shorted, 200 shares, scaled out here, got a nice little cover, then I scaled out. And when I took everything off that I felt like it was going to squeeze, and it did. Then I had one little misread right here, thinking it was going to go long. I shouldn't have went long right here with the 9 moving average, especially after what happened here. But I was looking at this as a double bottom, and then I was thinking, you know, it was going to keep going, but it was late. It was definitely late and a poor trade. And I went long like 75 shares and stopped out. Then I was like, okay, it's going to go back down, and I went short 200 shares at 38.50. I feel like I got a decent entry, but it was a little late if you look at the 9, and then I did stop out here because I felt like it was a bad entry. Even though I felt like it wasn't, I realized it was, and I stopped out, and that's when it squeezed. And then when you actually got near the 9, it made that move that I was looking for, so I was a little early on it. And then my last trade on Fiverr, after I was down, you know, $40 or something, and this is what got me back down to negative 20-something after commissions. I took this trade again on a double bottom. It pushed down and made a hammer. Then it couldn't hold it, and it went up, and I went long 200 shares at 36.43. My stop was technically below here, but being that it started going up, I didn't want to wait. I guess I could have set it below here, but after it made a slight move, let's see, 36.43, it gave me 7 cents, so I was up $14, but the price action was just hesitating, and that's when I decided to go ahead and cap it. But it made a very nice move over a point, so that was a $200 trade that would have definitely carried me well over near the $100 territory after commissions had I just held on to that trade, but it just didn't work out. Uber. Traded Uber. I don't know what the hell I did on Uber. So Uber, I took Uber to the short side. I traded Uber like a Christmas tree, actually. Uh-oh. Let's see. Uber. Let's see. So I went short for the, or I guess reject off the 9 moving average. I think I did 200 shares. So I did 200 shares here. My signal here was the 9 moving average. I went short here. Took my first partial because this drop was huge. It just, boom, it just dropped, right? And I took 100 off at 43.81, and then I took the other half off, or the rest of it off at 43.69. And I think I want to say I took, oh, and then I added more here. So I got back in thinking it was going to go back down, and then I took everything off at break even. So I didn't really lose on that other than a few bucks in commissions. Then I took it to the long side for the break to the upside because I looked at this as an ABCD pattern up to the 9. I went long 43.92. I kind of cut it prematurely, but I was looking at this as, you know, I missed the cover here, and when it came back down is when I took it off. And then I tried to take it again short because I felt like it was going to reject. And I stopped out near break even, and that's when it squeezed up. And then I tried to take it to the long side because I saw this as an ABCD pattern, ABC. And then as it started to go up, I thought we were going to push up, but I should have took this to the short side because it rejected the 20, and it rejected, and then it closed below the 9. After that squeeze, I should have took this to the short side, and that's what ended up happening. It was a short, and I think I took it to the short side again, but I felt like it wasn't going to do what I wanted it to do, and then I didn't really like my entry as much, but I went short 400 shares at 43.89, and I cut it off early, and then it made a nice move, so I would have made over $40 off that trade, but I cut it off. Then I took Uber one more time at 43.85 for a short, and I didn't like the price action. It felt like it didn't want to go, and that's when I stopped out right before it squeezed hard, so that would have been a nasty loss. But you see right here, it did actually make a nice move, so I felt like after all this trading, I did really well to manage the losses, especially for me to make 204 realized on a $5,000 account, $5,600 equity account, and to only be down negative 29 because of commissions. You know, I think I did really good. So this is a great way to end the week, even though it's not positive. Well, technically I'm positive, but just not after commission. So yeah, catch y'all next Monday. Y'all have a good one. See y'all, next one. Have a good weekend.